Hey guys, and welcome to this video. In this video, we'll be discussing fair value gap and liquidity inducement. So let's go over the concept and strategy surrounding fair value gap and liquidity inducement. So taking a look at this PDF right here, we can see this piece of price action right here. Price is predisposed to go higher right here. In other words, price is bullish. So price creates a fair value gap with a high within that particular fair value gap. Now price rallies higher, failing to mitigate this particular high within this particular fair value gap. Now creating this series of lows right here. Now this series of lows right here is what is known as liquidity inducement. Good. Why is that? Because price created an opportunity for buyers to go long at this series of lows, leading them to protect their positions with stop loss at these various lows right here, only for price to come later on in future and does this. In other words, running this whole liquidity right here, but now tanking at this particular high within the fair value gap. So this entire flow right here is the fair value gap liquidity inducement. Now going forward in price, we want to see price from this particular high right here within this particular fair value gap runs higher. So this overall flow right here is the fair value gap liquidity inducement strategy. Now, everything we've gone over right here can also be inverted for a sell case scenario. So without further ado, let's go see chart examples to drive home this particular idea. Now, taking a look at this particular price action, we can see that price is predisposed to go higher, and we've identified our fair value gap and our high within this particular fair value gap. So what we want to see right now is how price induce liquidity and reach for this particular high within this particular fair value gap. So let's see what price does. So we can see how price attacked all these people that had their stop loss going long at this series of lows right here. So this right here is liquidity inducement. Now price has reached for this particular high within this particular fair value gap. All we want to see from this particular region is how price rally all the way to the buy side. Let's see what price does. Boom. And there you have it. You can see how price rallied all the way from that particular high all the way to the buy side. So let's look at another example. So right here we've identified the fair value gap and the high within the particular fair value gap, and also these are the series of highs of traders that are willing to go short at this particular area because the market kept providing sell opportunities. So those traders have their stop loss above these various highs. So now we want to see price reach for this particular fair value gap into this particular low right here and running these stops of traders that are going short at this particular or these various highs right here. So let's see what price does. So we can see how price traded into this particular high, even piercing through it. I want you to be sure and certain that price didn't defile this particular high right there. So you can see that price didn't defile this particular high right there. So what we want to see is price from this particular region right here trade all the way to the sell side. So let's see what price does. Um, And there you have it. So right here is the fair value gap liquidity inducement strategy. So you can see how price trade all the way into that particular fair value gap, tanking into this particular low right here, but then run the high, and you can see how it trade aggressively all the way to the sell side. So here is another example on the USDJPY, and this is actually a current price action. So we can see we've identified the fair value gap right here and the high within this particular fair value gap. And now these are series of lows right here, which are liquidity inducement. So traders saw opportunities to go long at these various lows, putting their stop losses at these various lows right here. So now we want to see price come, attack this various liquidity, tanking into this particular high, then rallying higher. So let's see what price does. And there you have it. You can see our price dropped into this particular high right here within this particular fair value gap. And you can see it's already rallying higher. I think this is where the correct price action actually stops right there. You can see even the replay tool showed it right there. So this is where we are currently, even in price on the USDJPY. So here is another example on the AUD card. So we can see we've identified this fair value gap right here and the high within this particular fair value gap. So we can see also we also have our liquidity inducement, this series of lows right here. Traders went long at this series of lows, putting their stop loss at those lows. So there we have a liquidity inducement. So we want to see price come, run these lows and tank into this particular high within this particular fair value gap. And from then on, we want to see price rally higher. So let's see what price does. And there you have it. You can see our price traded into this particular high within this particular fair value gap. So what we want to see from this particular region right now is price move all the way to this particular high right here. We don't want to see price trade lower to this particular low. So let's continue and see what price does. And there you have it. So you can see our price traded from this particular region right here, this high within this fair value gap, all the way to this particular high. So this right here is the fair value gap liquidity inducement strategy. So let's see one more example before we call it a day in this video. So here is a final example. So you see we've identified this particular fair value gap right here with this high within this particular fair value gap, and we have this series of highs right here, which is our liquidity inducement. So we want to see price trading all the way to the buy side into this particular fair value gap, attacking this particular low right here. Then from then on, we want to see price sell off all the way to the sell side after attacking all this particular liquidity right here, which is the liquidity inducement. So let's see what price does. And there we have it. So we can see our price trades into this particular low right here within this particular fair value gap. So from here on, we want to see price move all the way to the sell side. Boom. And there you have it. So I hope you found value in today's video. If you do, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you have your thoughts or your comments, you can leave it in the comment section. I'll be sure to get back to you. Without further ado, see you in future videos.